name's Miz Lollipop, and I have a story to tell you. It's the story of my new stove. It's a good stove. It's a stove that I've been wanting for a while. A stove I've been needing for years. But it got put on the back burner, so to speak. It's a non-electric propane, sound like King of the Hill here, gas range. And it was very hard to find because I wanted a plain Jane, nothing electric on it. Now this is in direct opposition to when I first married Kelly and we set up housekeeping and we went looking for a stove. Then I wanted a piezoelectric starter stove because it would use less gas and it would be ever so friendly because it would you would just reach out, push the knob in, and it would go click click and then it would start. But I've never had a good relationship with anything electric. I couldn't ride underneath in a car underneath a street light, and the street light will go out until I get past it. I don't know why I have this relationship with electrical appliances. I can go past a radio and it gets out of station range. We blow a lot of light bulbs in this house. And I've been struck by lightning 3 times. The last time, Java Genie had his arm around me and I was on the telephone. It was just more than a little shocking for both of us. But that's the 3rd time's a charm, and I'm hoping that now that we have cell phones that the likelihood of that happening again is slim. But, needless to say, let me tell you that the old stove, with all its fancy gadgetry, started going south soon after we bought it. It started going crazy. It would go click, 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 click whenever I entered the room. It would go click, 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 click. And then until the point that our parrot learned how to make the click, 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 click sound of the stove. We plugged it into a strip. And for years then, whenever we wanted to use the stove, we would reach down and turn the strip on, and then turn the stove on, and it would light itself. It's not that we couldn't go out and buy a new stove. It was just that that stove worked, except for that one feature. And we're thrifty. So, it took that stove scaring me into going and looking for another stove, because we got to the point that it sounded like a jet engine taking off, and I got to the point that I just wouldn't cook. And when I had both knees done this year, it got to the point that it just became simpler for Java Genie to bring stuff home, you know. And quite frankly, I had gastric bypass surgery 3 years ago, and I just don't eat much. Which brings me to the new stove again. Before I had gastric bypass surgery, I could cook. Man, I could cook. I mean, when I was getting my divorce, I wrote a cookie cookbook. Yep. I didn't let any moss grow under my feet. I mean, at one point, I got scared and thought that what was going to be in my gravestone was, man, she could cook a mean cone of cornbread. People who knew me then, there's no denying it, I was one of the best cooks there was around. Was, you notice, was. Because can't anymore. You go 3 years without doing something on a regular basis and you kind of lose your hand. Which is why I understand when your heart's not in something or your heart's been taken away from something, it's hard to climb back up there. Do it again. Tonight I cooked that first meal in that stove. It was a pot roast. Ooh, so tender. Nice Dutch oven. Cook it slow. Make that meat just fall apart. Nice mushroom gravy. Ah, it was delicious. Potatoes, corn, green beans. It's really good. But I've cooked better. I've cooked better. Billy Biggin, it's good to have you back. You get your heart back. You get your step back. That writer's block, in this case, vlogger's block. It's just good to have you back, boy. And I really want to say to Zipster's family and to his father, peace be with you. Let your light shine. Bye now.